Greetings YouTube. Today we're looking at a SOG Lockback Tanto. I don't have the packaging. I don't know what happened to it. I really don't. I picked this knife up for 20 bucks at Walmart, and I just wanted to give it a try. I knew it was one of their lower end knives, but you can sometimes get good deals with knives for 20 bucks. And I just recently picked up a Firebird knife by Gonzo for 20 bucks, and it is incredibly well made. I've picked up a couple of Kershaws over the years in the $20 range that were solid, well designed, well thought out, well executed knives. So I'm thinking, okay, I don't own a lot of SOGs. I got a couple of their Tomahawks. They're a real nice feel. I'll give it a shot. What the heck? So this is what we have, and this is a again, tip up, deep pocket carry clip if you like that kind of thing. You could probably also throw a piece of lanyard through the top loop if you really wanted to help get it out of your pocket, because sometimes these deep pocket clips can really carry something in a deep pocket, and it can make it sometimes a little bit difficult to pull out. I have to admit, I kind of like the skeletonized clip, the SOG logo in it. They don't want you to forget what you're looking at. And as a lockback, this is a solid construction here. We have, right, this is just plastic scales. It's the entire body of the tool. It's lockback position. Lockback lock. It has a nice, it has decent retention. You get to this point, and you go back and whoop, sucks it right in there. So that's nice. So you get a nice retention. Dual thumb studs. They're a little on the sharp side, but they don't stick out too far. So again, I don't like knives that have thumb studs that stick out too far, though I've come to appreciate when they have the tip of the thumb stud be either a cone or a dome or a hemisphere. This is just a flat, and these edges, in my opinion, are they're just a little on the crisp side. They really are. Because you're going to be coming in like this. I think you do that a lot. It's gonna wear on your thumb a bit. Now, because of the lockback, you'll notice how that opens. You kind of push, and then it releases because you're getting against the lockback, and now you're in the free zone, and then it locks into place. And there's your knife. It's kind of a modified Tanto because this has a slight inward curve. This is flat. This is flat, and we have the flat here. Hollow grind. This is kind of a flat grind here. I'm not a big fan of hollow grind blades. I've said that before. I prefer a flat grind. I think that's superior. This in here, this line right there is kind of a curve. There you can see it. It's kind of a curve. So I like the look of it, and I like the shape of it. It fits well in the hand. This little swell here makes it feel very secure in your hand. There's not much in this to speak of for a guard, but this does swell nicely, and there is some jimping here on the back of the blade so that it feels firm. There is jimping on the lockback, though I gotta tell you, I'm not sure that jimping on a lockback makes much sense. I mean, you're just pushing in on it. I'm not really concerned of my thumb sliding off of something that I'm just gonna go and push down. That, to my mind, I don't know. But the jimping isn't aggressive. So if you like jimping on your lockbacks, this is fairly well done. We have a pinned construction. There is no adjustment in here. So this is, again, a lower end knife. But there, in my opinion, there isn't any reason you couldn't have had adjustable pivot. I've seen that on knives of the same price range. I've seen that on knives that were a lower price range than this. So, having all said that, there are things about this knife I really don't like. It is loose in a big way because it is plastic. Not so much in this direction. It is a solid lock in the lockback, but in side-to-side play, there's a lot of sway in here. Other problems? These grinds here are not even close to being similar. See how that one comes in there? And see how that one's shaped? They're not even close. The grind is not even. it's just really poorly executed. You can even feel it. When you run your hand like this, you can feel the difference, and that is inexcusable in my opinion, even on a $20 knife. I think that the knife is too thin. If they had put steel liners in here, it would have bulked this out by, a couple of millimeters in either direction. Just a millimeter thick steel liner would have done it. You would have gotten a lot more stiff construction. It would have been only slightly heavier. The blade is very thin. I think, in my mind, too thin. It should have been made a very slightly thicker than this. Again, about a millimeter thicker would have been acceptable. There's actually a burr right here. I mean, the finish on this is just not good. And I know you're going to say it's a $20 knife, but again, I've owned numerous $20 knives that were far better quality than this. I'm not completely giving up on this knife as far as a design is concerned. If you made it a little thicker, put some steel liners in there, I think you could salvage this design because I like the handle shape, the blade shape is interesting. There are things I like about this. Now, I do have a problem with the lockback, so we're going to put this into vertical position. We're going to unlock it. Now, you see how it falls. This is relatively sharp. So if you have it like this, and you hold it like here, it will actually swing down and intersect with your finger, which is bad. This isn't like an axis lock where you're doing this and the blade swings and you're not in the path. Or if you're using a liner lock where if you're a liner lock, it comes down and it were to hit your finger in only a very small arc and you stop the blade from going any further. No, this will swing and it can intersect your hand. Now, it does have a certain braking feature here, but if once the lock has been released, but if the lock is in the down position, that doesn't, I mean, that can swing right down there freely. I'm putting no pressure on that, and it can hit your finger and it can hurt you. I'm not a big fan of lockbacks, and that's one of the reasons I'm not a big fan of lockbacks. Liner locks, the axis locks rather, I don't want to keep saying axle, but the axis lock are both solid designs. Even some slip joints are solid designs in my opinion, because you're going to be closing that like this. So again, your fingers will not be in the way. But if you're using an axis, a lockback like this, and that pivot is really smooth, it's just going to swing down and it can hurt you. I think that's a fail. I'm not impressed with this knife. I can almost tell you I'm like on the edge enough to say that I regret buying it, but I don't regret knowing about it. And I can tell other people this knife has flaws. Be aware this knife has flaws before you purchase one. I think you'd be better off looking at some Kershaw blades than the $20 range than this thing, or even some Firebird stuff by Gonzo. Again, I was incredibly impressed with some of the build quality. There'll be a later review about that at some point. This knife, I think you should skip it, seriously, unless you are a SOG completionist that must own one of everything. I think you'd be better off investing in a knife other than this. So yeah, as far as the knife is concerned, I'm disappointed in it, but I am glad that I have had the experience so I can pass that knowledge on to other folks.